What's up, y'all? It's Moosh here, and today in this video we're going to be talking about some of the things you should consider getting for your college dorm. It's not an extensive list, but as you like and subscribe to this video, let's get right to it. First off, I just want to say that not every dorm and every college campus dorm is the same. So before you buy anything, one of the biggest things I recommend is getting an idea of what your college dorm might look like, whether it be getting a dorm tour or also looking up the dorm that you're going to be living in. And also one of the things you need to consider is coordinating with your roommate. No dorm room whatsoever needs 2 fridges and 2 microwaves. Coordinate about what you want to bring. If it's a big ticket item that you can share, do that. And also look up every single housing policy for every university that you're going to or applying to, because every university will have different appliance and items you can bring policies, and it's important to do that. Otherwise it's just going to get confiscated by the RA, or you're going to get a fine or anything along that line. It's never fun when that happens. That being said, let's get back to the items that we want to talk about. One of the first things I always think about when I'm moving into a college dorm is a mattress topper. It is more important than anything, and you're going to love it when it's saving your back. Most university college dorms do not have the best mattresses. They're very standard college dorm mattresses that are very hard to sleep on. So one of the biggest things I recommend is looking up the size of the mattress that you're going to be having in your college dorm and getting a mattress topper. Typically on Amazon you can get very decent ones, and I also recommend buying high quality mattress toppers, because oftentimes people will buy cheap ones and realize they're just as uncomfortable as the mattress that you're sleeping on bare for your college dorm too. So I strongly recommend getting a mattress topper that is actually extremely comfortable, and that sometimes means buying some expensive ones, but it's really important, and it's really important for your rest, and you're gonna thank yourself later for it. Some other things you should consider getting for yourself are a mini fridge and microwave. However, when you're doing that, have that conversation with your roommate. If there are certain things that you can share, do that. For example, for my room, we had a couch, and I told my roommate that I was going to bring a couch to have extra space for people to come over and sit on. That's something we could share too. And also, when I discussed with my roommate my freshman year, we discussed about who would bring what. So my roommate was able to bring a microwave, and I brought a mini fridge, and we shared that. Because you're going to have limited space within your college dorm, it's important to have that shared items. That way you can utilize everything as much as possible. If you have a limited amount of space, you don't want to bring 2 microwaves and 2 mini fridges. That takes up a lot of space that you could be using for something else. And as we talk about space, you want to buy things that are going to help you feel organized. One of the things I really always talk about is collapsible hangers, and also the shoe racks that go on the doors. Those are very important because they help utilize and maximize the space that you're already going to have. If you have a lot of shoes, the door hanging shoe racks are amazing because they don't take up a lot of space, and you can put in as many shoes as you want rather than having to buy another shoe rack that's going to take up so much of your area that you have in your room that might be limited. And you have to consider the fact that you might have a roommate, or sometimes if you're living in a triple occupancy room, you might have 2 roommates in that space. So the way you utilize everything is very important. Also, having a shower caddy. If you are going to have a bathroom that's a community bathroom, you can put all your toiletries within that too. And even if you don't have one, having a shower caddy or something similar to have all your toiletries in is very important. That way you can distinguish it from your roommates and keep it separated. One of the things I also talk about is having boxes and containers, because you can put that on top of your dresser and put more stuff in there too, and keep things much more organized. A lot of times in college dorms, when you are on the go constantly, it's easy to get disorganized and just throw stuff everywhere. But if you have containers and boxes, you can put stuff in there, and it's easy to keep things separated and organized for yourself, so you can find things quickly too, and that's going to be a much more efficient use of your time. Some other things to also consider is a good quality alarm clock. You might take 8 a.m. courses, or you might need reminders, and having an alarm clock is going to be important. That's obvious. But related to that, another thing that might be just as important are earplugs. You are going to have roommates. Sometimes roommates are loud. If you have headphones or earplugs, they are essential, because sometimes you want to tune out all that noise, and having that can be very helpful, because whether you're studying, and if you have a roommate that likes to play music loud, you can just put on your earphones or earplugs, and you can just study or do whatever you need to. And for me, that was very important because I had a roommate that could be very loud, and I could just put on my earplugs and I could just do whatever I wanted to. Some other things, having like a tabletop fan or having like a table fan is really important because sometimes you're not going to be able to control the temperatures in your dorms depending on where you're going, and even if you can, it can get really hot. For example, in Texas, even though we have centralized air conditioning, it's like 110 degrees outside and it's still getting hot, and having that table fan can be very helpful. And vice versa, also having a space heater during the winters, it gets really cold, and sometimes dorms can still stay cold even if you have the heater turned on, and having that space heater can help be very helpful. So if you are one of those people that feels very cold or feels very hot, think about getting like a space heater or getting like a table fan too, because that can bring comfort. You're gonna be living in your dorm for upwards of 9 months, so basically a whole academic year, and you need to feel comfortable in the space that you're living in. Speaking about being comfortable in the space you're living in, you're also gonna have to eat. So I recommend getting utensils too. You can get pretty cheap sets at Walmart or any other grocery store. You can just order them on Amazon. Sometimes you're not gonna eat in the cafeterias, and it's really inconvenient when you don't have a fork or a spoon when you need it. So buy a set of silverware. It's really helpful and it comes in handy a lot of the times. So strongly recommend having that too. With that being said, here are some things I think you should not bring to your college dorm. For example, something that is extremely expensive and that is replaceable. If you have jewelry that is super expensive, don't bring it to your dorm. You're gonna have roommates a lot of times, and you don't know who your roommate is bringing in, so you don't want your things to get stolen. So don't bring that stuff here and then get it lost, because you're gonna be sad and it's gonna be a big deal and no one enjoys that. Some other things to consider not bringing into your college dorm is things like hot plates or anything like open candles, because those are fire hazards. A lot of dorms do not allow them. And when you have those things, there's a chance that things are gonna catch on fire, and it's not fun for anybody and it's not safe. Another thing I don't really recommend bringing with you to your college dorm is a TV. It takes up a lot of space. A lot of times it brings up the idea of your roommates using it, and sometimes that causes issues. And it's also loud, so sometimes your roommate not like it, and sometimes it's just not worth bringing one in. A lot of times you're going to be using a streaming service. You can literally use your laptop to use it, and if you really want to use a TV, a lot of college dorms have common room spaces where you can actually go and watch TV. So don't bring a TV if you don't want to, unless it's super important to you. In that case, you can literally just do whatever you want to. With all that being said, the last thing you should bring, and I think is important to bring, is things that make your dorm feel like your home. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be living in that college campus for a whole academic year, and sometimes as a returner, you're gonna come back again. And it's important to make that place feel like your actual home, because you're gonna be far away from it a lot of times. So bring in decorations that represent you. Bring in some things of comfort that aren't too expensive, that remind you of home, and really make the place comfortable. Yeah, so that was my video on some things you should bring, and at the end I kind of added some things you probably shouldn't bring. But if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have an amazing day.